recapping another busy week of prep sports. It's High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1.
And welcome back to High School Sports Talk on this 13th day of July, a Saturday. Hope you're enjoying it. 86 degrees outside. Matt Hatfield here with you. And joining us now is a special guest. He is the head football coach of one of the premier private school programs in our area and state, Norfolk Academy, which brings back its starting quarterback in Drew Duffy, a very talented running back getting a lot of recruiting attention in Jacob Saffold, also about 5 or 6 returnees on the defensive side of the ball. And we're talking about Coach Steve Monninger of Norfolk Academy with us now on ESPN Radio 94.1. Coach, thank you for joining us. How's your July going?
It's going great, Matt. Thanks for having me. It's been a good July. I've gotten some good family time, which is great, but just as important, been with the team a lot in the weight room and on the field, and been going well so far.
Good deal. And if I see it correctly, your season opener is going to come on August the 23rd against Nandua?
That's actually going to be more of a scrimmage.
Oh, is it? Okay.
We open versus the Potomac School for our kickoff classic. That's here at the Windarden Stadium on August 30th.
Okay, so there you have it. August the 30th at Norfolk Academy. They play host to Potomac School in their opener. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff?
That's correct, yep.
All right, so go check out the Bulldogs then, and all throughout the season we'll chat about the TCIS and the schedule here with Coach. But first time we've had you on either the show, period, or in quite a while, so let's fill the audience in on your background, your high school days, your playing days, how you got to Norfolk Academy, and what year this is for you as the head coach of the Bulldogs.
Sure, that's great. So I'm entering my 9th year as the head coach here. Interestingly enough, I grew up in New Jersey, went to Westfield High School, which is in Union County. So I'm a New Jersey guy at heart for sure. Loved playing high school football there and high school lacrosse there. Went on to a small college in Vermont called Middlebury College, which is kind of like a little Ivy, and ended up having a nice career there, playing football there. Ended up being a captain my senior year. Was never the best player, that's for sure, but always was kind of a heart and soul kind of guy, and just loved every bit of it. And then from there, I actually stayed on and coached at the college level in Division III, coached all sorts of different positions from O-line to D-line, linebackers, DBs. I was a defensive coordinator for about 6 or 7 years. And then I just wanted to make a little bit of a move into the independent school scene for family reasons, for professional reasons. I wanted to be a head coach. And I got connected with our headmaster here, and kind of an interview led to a meeting at the school and a visit, and fell in love with Norfolk Academy and the style of balance between academics and athletics here. And this is now my home.
Oh, that's neat to hear. Now, coming from the Jersey area, I'm always curious for coaches that come in from other states. We seem to get a lot of coaches and people from Pennsylvania and Ohio, and you coming from up in New Jersey. How different is the football up that way compared to Virginia in your eyes?
I think it's similar in a lot of ways. I grew up in a town that was, a Group 4, which was the biggest level of football. Kind of about a half hour from Giant Stadium, and football was really important there. There was a lot of inner city schools we played. So I kind of think there's a lot of similarities between just the demographics of the type of towns that are different from each other and the style of football that's played. But I think there's a ton of similarities. I think there's a ton of speed in New Jersey. I think there's a ton of speed here in the 757. And I think kind of the brand of football is pretty similar. I guess what's most important is that football matters. And you can certainly see that here, and it's certainly the case in New Jersey.
Chatting with Steve Monninger. He's the head football coach of the Norfolk Academy Bulldogs going into his 9th season at the helm. Our guest here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. We'll get to your team this season, the key players and the games on the docket here in a moment. But, Coach, sort of briefly recap last season for me. I know you had a lot of close games. You got some exciting wins, made the VISAA playoffs. Give me a thought on last season, how it went as you turn the page into 2019.
Yeah, it was actually, looking back, it was a great season. We accomplished a ton. I'm really proud of the guys. We graduated at like 20-some-odd seniors the year before. So coming into last year's season, we were pretty green. And our first scrimmage went so-so. In our first game, we played well, but not well enough to win. And then we just kind of hit our stride in the middle of the season. We made a couple adjustments with personnel. And I think that helped us. We moved one of our DBs to full-time running back, and he ended up getting 1,000 yards on the year. We had we played really well on the road, which was neat to see. And during the middle of the season there, we just had some great great wins. Our second to last game of the year was kind of highlighted by a game versus the collegiate school where, just like the Philadelphia Eagles, we benefited from a double doink win, the ball hitting the upright twice. So that was kind of the most exciting win of the year. So it was a really good year. We're 6-3 at the end of the season. We ended up with voting and PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff. We ended up making the playoffs. We got whooped in the first round by Flint Hill. They took it to us. It just shows you that we're not quite there for that state championship level, which is going to take some more work and some more dedication. But it shows you we're in the hunt, which is a big change of pace from when I got here.
When Flint Hill put a lot of whoopings on many people, they had just a ton of prospects, as you know, last year, Coach. And the double doink game you mentioned, see, yours happened first. They got the idea from your game.
Maybe that's true. I guess we set the precedent.
Hey, tell me about, we've got a lot of guys to go over with on your squad, both offensively and defensively, but in our limited time this morning here, one of the names I want to hit on for you is Jacob Saffold. He's a running back for you. I know he's coming off an injury, but on VirginiaPreps.com and our Rivals top 30 rankings across the state, he is one of the players ranked in the top 30 in the state. So speak on what makes him so special.
Jacob's first off, he's a special young man. He's a young man of great character. He's a loyal guy. He's a sincere guy. He's a fantastic worker. He does it in the classroom. He's got a really high GPA. He grinds in the classroom. He's got a really high SAT. He's just a really well-rounded, polite young man. But man, he can run. So on top of all that, he went to this Nike opening combine, ran a 4.35 40 on laser time, and things just lit up for him in the recruiting process, which I'm so happy for him. He's really dynamic. He played for me as a freshman. He got really good reps as a sophomore, and junior year was going to be his year, but unfortunately the injury forced him to sit out for the whole season, so we sincerely missed him. He's really good at going to these combines and going to these camps, and he's been all over the country this summer, and he's lighting it up. But at the same time, he's a young man that just wants to put on a helmet and pads and wear orange and blue on a Friday night and play with his brothers. And the summer recruiting stuff is great, but he's a football player. He wants to get on the field, and he wants to produce. And I know he's ready for that. We're going to focus our offense around him for sure.
I was going to say 4.35 laser time of the Nike Combine. I know coaches hate getting asked who's the best guy you've coached or fastest guy you've coached, but I'm guessing if he's not the fastest guy you've coached, he's either second or third.
He's the fastest guy.
Okay. I was thinking that was the case. Now, recruiting-wise, he's got, I imagine, quite a few opportunities, FBS, FCS, even some Ivy Leagues with the good grades, perhaps? Or
yeah, he's done a great job promoting himself, and when coaches meet him, they're just impressed with him as a young man, which they're looking for the whole package. They're not looking for just a 40 time. They're looking for young men who want to grind, looking for young men who can produce on the field, and guys that they know can buy into their program. So Jacob has Temple, I think, is his, I'm going to get this right, I think is his only FBS offer. He has William & Mary. He has several Ivies, Penn, Columbia, Cornell, Harvard, Princeton. I might miss a couple here. He has Georgetown. He has Hampton. So he's done a great job promoting himself as a young man for having no junior film, and coaches still buying into his brand is really impressive.
Yeah, that is great to hear. We're talking with Steve Monninger. He's the head football coach of the Norfolk Academy Bulldogs, who open up the 2019 campaign at home, 6 o'clock on August the 30th against the Potomac School. It's ESPN Radio 94.1 High School Sports Talk, brought to you by VirginiaPreps.com. And, Coach, you mentioned Jacob Saffold and what a special talent he is. We know you're going to run the football because you not only have him in the backfield, your quarterback returns in Drew Duffy, and then you got a very talented slot player in Ben Locke, who's committed to Brown to play lacrosse, I should say. So fair to say, running the football should not be too big of a problem for you guys?
I think it's our strength coming back as our offensive backfield. That's not a surprise to anyone. Drew Duffy distributes the ball really well. He makes really good reads on the edge in the run game for RPOs and so forth. And he actually threw the ball really well. He's very efficient with his quick game. We get him out of the pocket a decent amount as well for sprint outs and boots. So we're expecting big things from Drew as a senior. He just improved every game last year. And Ben Locke is our slot receiver that gets the ball in jet sweep and gets the ball in the perimeter pass game. And we've sent him on verticals. He's got really good speed. He's got great shake. He can return kicks. Benlock is a special young man. He's a grinder. He's a heck of a lacrosse player, obviously. But he's just another example of, at Norfolk Academy, those well-rounded 2-sport, 3-sport athletes that contribute to our school in so many different ways and contribute to the culture of our school in so many different ways, in the classroom, on the field, on the court. So we're really blessed to have those guys.
Well, you got some good pieces on both sides of the ball, Coach. And I imagine with the private schools in comparison to some of the public schools, depth is the biggest question. Everybody says that at every level. Oh, we got to have more depth, got to have more depth. But you got some good linemen up front. I'm taking it, but it's just a matter of how many do we have. Is that going to be a key question for you going into this year?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, if you look at like kind of a general depth chart walking into the season, we're at about 12 offensive linemen, about 13 or 14 defensive linemen. So we'll be fine. But yeah, I think staying healthy and practicing smart so you stay healthy, and handling your scrimmages so you're staying healthy, and some of it is just luck, as we know. But I think being a smart football coach and putting your guys in good position where they can learn the game, be physical, but at the same time stay healthy is vital. But I really like our linemen that are coming back. One of our captains' young men is Gil Ware. He's a long and lean thrasher as a defensive end. He's played center. He can play tackle. He's a kind of interesting young man that you find in Norfolk Academy. That's a swimmer and a rower on our crew team, and a football player, and is looking to swim at Princeton or one of those kind of places. And so it's just there's no magical formula. You just get young men of all different interests, and you bring them together and build a team and bring them together to put a product on the field on Friday night. That's a really high level.
Oh, that's neat. Very interesting to hear. And before we close up with the schedule and outlook on the TCIS, Coach, any other names you would like to highlight, be it on the offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball, in addition to the ones you've already hit on with Ware and Saffold, Duffy, and Locke?
Well, I would say just on defense, we're excited about Jasper Doyle, who's a kind of a 6-foot, 205, 210 inside linebacker that can really plug. He's really aggressive. On defense, Elijah Quamley is our outside linebacker. He was second on the team with tackles last year. He's a special football player. He's got a real nose for the ball. He had 3 interceptions last year. Elijah has been playing a lot of 7-on-7. I just respect him and where he is with his game. And we have another returning all-conference player, A.J. Keels, is a corner for us. He's a great cover corner, and is really took off last year and did a great job. There's many other names I can mention, but just on defense, some of those guys, we're looking for them to step up this year for sure.
Chatting with Steve Monninger. He's the head football coach of the Norfolk Academy Bulldogs, our guest here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1 as they gear up for their 2019 season opener on August the 30th against the Potomac School at 6 o'clock at Norfolk Academy. And, Coach, your outlook on the TCIS in general, always some very good, competitive, exciting football. We like to say on the show that some of our favorite results have been the Bay Rivers games that always go down the wire, whether it's a 15-14 or a 21-20 or one of those high-scoring 40-38 games. And I've had the privilege to call a couple of your games. The Bishop Sullivan one from years back comes to mind. That was an exciting shootout game. And I know that the league this year is going to have probably some very close games yet again. What's your thoughts on the general overview of the TCIS?
Well, I think just generally speaking, that since I've been here, if you look back 8 years ago, the level of the TCIS in terms of talent, in terms of coaching, in terms of just general culture, the TCIS has just grown and has improved. So our team and program has improved, but so has Norfolk Christian. So has Catholic High School, of course, and Nansemond Suffolk Academy has just done a great job. So everyone's gotten better, which is great, which is what it should be. And our games on Friday nights, those local games, is when we get the best crowds. It's awesome. It's independent school football, 757 football, and it's a great atmosphere. We have to travel for our D1 Vista games much farther, but the local games, they bring a special flavor. There's good rivalry going on. Some of the kids know each other, and we expect more of the same this year.
Well, it should be fun to see as, again, they open up on August the 30th against the Potomac School as the Bulldogs look to make another playoff run under Coach Steve Monninger and year number 9 at the helm. Thank you so much, Coach. I'm sure we'll be in touch throughout the summer and as we go into the fall, all right?
Thanks for all you do for 757 and for covering independent school football. We really do appreciate it.
You bet, Coach. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
All right, take care.
That's Steve Monninger, head football coach of the Norfolk Academy Bulldogs, our guest here on High School Sports Talk, brought to you by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio